concepts of jihad and so on and so forth. No, rather we call to what the prophets actually emphasize in their initial messages.
First we talk to the person, we find out where they're coming from, if they're secularist, if they're Christian, if they're Sikh, if they're Hindu or whatever. And based on that, then we start dialoguing with them and basically bringing proofs from the Quran and from the Sunnah of the Prophet about why we disagree with them.
In our da'wah, we're not just trying to sort of quickly beat people over the head and sort of use sort of brainwashing kind of techniques or methods at all. No, what we do rather, we take the message to the people about the concept of God and worshipping Allah alone. This is what we emphasize first and initially. If people obviously show interest, obviously we try to nurture that and develop that. But we don't try to, we're not in it about just to get as many numbers as we can. No, not at all. Obviously, because of the issues that have happened, it's kind of put us on a back foot in terms of our da'wah. Because whereas we used to emphasize calling people to Tawheed and to worship of God and Islam, now we kind of have to clarify again for people issues to do with terrorism and these kind of things.
But do they ever meet with hostility?
Yeah, definitely. We meet with hostility, of course, but it's all part of the da'wah. In fact, one has to have patience in da'wah, and this is all part of the hardships in traversing the call to Islam.
Patience is rewardable on the Day of Judgment, and for Muslims, rewards offset their sins. But what about faithful Christians?
Anyone who dies upon other than Islam, including good Christian, then he will be placed in that group. We have people of two types in the next life. Those people who are Muslims, who had the belief of Islam and lived the life of Islam, but they may have fell into certain sinful actions, things that they are not supposed to do as Muslim, but they did fall into them. If a person fell into that case and he died in that state, he didn't try to amend his act while he was alive, and he died in this case, then we believe that as a Muslim, there's a possibility that this person may be punished for that act, that sinful deed that he did. And then eventually, though, he be taken away from this punishment and be placed in paradise, and we live forever. Then we have another group of people who are the non-Muslim, those who did not accept Islam, rejected Islam. Then those people, they will be the dwellers of the hellfire.
We have obviously the belief that if we believe in the Creator and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that alone will allow us to enter paradise one day. Okay. However, this issue of reward and punishment is very important. There are some things that are rewardable and there are some things that are punishable. And for a Muslim to be a good Muslim, we should be aware of what's rewardable and what's punishable.
Because of that, you will find that definitely practicing Muslims, it is an issue. If I do this thing, Allah has threatened that the people who do this thing will be in hellfire, or Allah has promised the people who do such a thing Jannah, and you will do something for that reason because we have firm belief in that.
Any religion will tell you that if you don't believe in this religion, you're going to be punished in hell. A Christian can come to me and say that Jesus is your salvation, and if you don't believe in Jesus as your Lord, what's going to happen to me? According to the Christian, I'm going to burn in hell. And it's no different in the Islamic religion. In Islam, we believe that if you join partners with Allah, if you worship others other than Allah, you will be punished, you will burn in hell. That's the one side of it, the scary future. But what about the paradise? When you start to think about paradise, and there's hope and there's anticipation, and a longing to be there. So there's something to work towards.
And what happens to those who never hear the message of Islam?
Those who have never heard of Islam, then their test will be on the Day of Judgment, where Allah will test them there. So there will be tests, they may be asked to do a certain task. If it is done, this is a sign of their true submissiveness to the command of their Lord. And if they reject, then it might be a sign that these people were rebellious, and they will be, judged accordingly.
But in Islam, we say Allah, like the God in the Bible, He created the seven heavens, the valleys and the seas and everything else there is. But we say, which is different to the Christians, that He did not rest upon the seventh day. Because we say that is deficient.
Many who now go to the Brixton Mosque were brought up in Christian families. The Imam himself was raised as a Christian.
And the thing that attracted me, I think then I was still in school, I was still in high school studying then. And I used to be involved in like a study group. We used to study African history and history in general. So the thing in studying African history in particular that is always repeated in the history of Islam concerning Islam being a part of the history of Africa. So due to this, then for myself, I kind of took the responsibility upon myself to understand or to hear more about Islam, because certain names keep repeating the word Islam and also Muhammad. So I want to know exactly what was exactly these two things, Muhammad and Islam.
Free information on Islam. Discover the truth about Islam and all the prophets. Moses, Muhammad, Jesus, Noah.
Hussein was raised as a Roman Catholic and turned to Islam when his cousin converted.
When I read the Bible, I found that actually there was a lot of similarities between Islam and Christianity. And when I actually started analysing the way of life of my cousin and the Bible, I realised that my cousin was practicing a lot of the stuff that's in the Bible, and my mum, who was a Christian, has left a lot of stuff. So basically, I used to look at my cousin and I used to see that he used to fall down in his face and pray, and in the prophets, all of the prophets, they used to fall down on their face and pray. Also, he used to grow his beard, he dressed like the prophets. Mary dressed like the Muslim women, they dressed like how Mary dressed.
Eventually then I went to apply to Saudi Arabia in Medina, the city of Medina. They have a university there that